Today, we are going to talk about what that means for people looking to buy and sell right now, where the market is headed next as well. We will talk about that with you, Brian Coester, real estate expert, and you're here to just give us the rundown. So thank you for being here. Welcome back. You haven't been on the show since we've changed the platform.
Yeah, a whole new format. Thank you for having me. It's exciting to see everyone. And yeah, things have changed a lot. Format of the show and the real estate market.
And the real estate market, right? Yeah, it's good to have you, and you were missed. Let's start, though, with what's changed in the DMV since we've last talked. And, how's the housing market right now?
So a lot has changed, right? So at the end of the day, it's shifted much more to a buyer's market, right? Like interest rates were historically low. There was a lot of sellers holding out, hoping that they could, stay in place and take advantage of that low rate. Now life happens. People need to sell. There's a lot more on the market. And there's been a lot of initiatives by the federal government to help incentivize people to move, right? So we've seen rates lower, more listings on the market, more negotiations, and it's starting to balance.
Yeah, and would you say since the change in the administration, you've seen a major flip?
Yeah, so they've definitely taken a more aggressive stance to move things forward, right? Mm-hmm. Like at the end of the day, housing is somewhat legislative, but it's definitely more constructive in the sense of people need physically somewhere to live. Mm-hmm. And the Trump administration has pulled levers, and I say levers because there's a whole host of levers, has pulled a variety of levers to move the housing market forward. So that's in the Federal Reserve, that's with removing zoning restrictions, that's selling off federal land. There's a whole host of things like that they've done to move things forward in a tangible way.
All right. So, Brian, tell us, are we really starting to see more of a buyer-friendly market with more homes and longer days on the market? How does that work?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So ultimately, supply and demand, financing, interest rates, there's a combination of things that sort of add up to the overall value of a home. Right now, home prices have peaked pretty much nationally. There's pockets that are doing okay, but let's just say as a general rule, a lot of areas are seeing decreases, and a lot of areas are seeing multiple price cuts or cancellations. Now, what that looks like is not a short-term situation. That is actually the start of a long-term trajectory where prices are going to be more stable, people are going to be able to buy, home prices are not necessarily going to increase like they have, and you're going to see, sort of a boring, normal housing market, which is what we need.
So we want boring.
Yeah, we want boring. We want our housing market to be boring.
So it's not like entertainment. You don't want fun.
No, we want our nightlife to be fun.
You're right.
and our housing to be boring.
All right, and also the 6%. I know that mortgage rates are now hovering around 6%. How is that impacting the buyer demand?
So rates are huge, right? Ultimately, rates determine the price of financing of the house. Rates were historically lower because of COVID, so they sort of artificially lowered rates with COVID and some of the stimulus. So 80% of sellers had really no reason to sell, right? They're in a situation where they have 3-4% rate. By rates now getting below 6 and in the 5s, it makes it much more attractive for sellers to sell, buyers to buy. Really, they need to be in that like 5.5% for the market to really open up. Personal opinion, but it's getting close, and you're already starting to see that activity.
Yeah, and that activity, you say we need that, right?
We need that activity.
Yeah, and lastly, let's talk about these major projects, right? So we've already talked about RFK. We've talked about that last year. Amazon's expansion in Ashburn. Then we have this planned Sphere in Maryland at National Harbor. What do these investments mean for the DMV housing market long term?
Yeah, I tell people this all the time. You're in Rome at its peak globally, right? So 70% of the internet traffic comes through here. Amazon just bought GW's tech headquarters for $420 million. Microsoft's buying all the land in Manassas. I remember when I was an appraiser over there, land was so cheap. I mean, you get $1,000 for an acre. This area for the next 20 years is going to be set up as a hub for technology, for internet, for infrastructure, and it's a blessing to be here at this time.
Okay. All right. Brian Coester with Real Estate Connection. Thank you so much. It's never enough time to talk, right?
Thank you. There's so much to cover.
Yes, so we'll definitely have you back.